Congratulations on the film. It's a story that I thought that I knew. I grew up in Canada, and the Ken Taylor story here. I mean, he's been a national hero forever. There's a much different spin on it. But one thing I thought that the movie did a really nice job of is not diminishing the Canadian aspect of it, and that's something that we would be very sensitive, frankly.
Oh my God! Why? That's not a part of the story. Those people were heroes. I can't imagine doing that. The riot going on outside, and the constant reminder that you are risking your lives and risking a very gruesome death.
Yeah,
that would have been hard, and torture. So, pulled it off with typical Canadian aplomb.
That's right. Understated aplomb.
Yeah.
I think that it's interesting to see how timely this story still is, though. I mean, I would imagine that if you and I were having this conversation in 1974 and all this was happening, we'd say, it is a mess over there, but we've got to be able to figure something. We've got to be able to figure out how to fix this,
Yeah.
And 30, 40, almost 40 years later, it's still a mess, And the movie, I think, doesn't allude to that, but certainly gives us the idea of it.
Yeah. It sounds crazy to say, but those were more moderate times. There was no 24-hour news cycle.
Yep.
And everybody with an opinion didn't have the avenue to express it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what I see in the last little while, and I mean, it's been building for some time, but what I see is anger is the new opinion.
Yeah.
If you're not angry, if you're not mad as hell, and you're not going to take it anymore, nobody cares about what you have to say anymore. And particularly, I think in your country, more so than here, although it's coming here too.
Rage sells, crazy rage sells. People with any sort of a grievance feel, hey, me too. Where's mine? I'm getting screwed here. Mm-hmm. And it's a very comfortable feeling.
Yeah.
That faux outrage. I think that our news cycle has been coarsened so much that it's, to me, unreliable. I like reading the good old newspaper.
Me too.
And now it's certain newspapers.
Yeah.
The journalists have always tainted themselves yellow to sell papers. Not so much for a while. Now it's going the other way, but the other way, the radio and the television is just crazy. Mm-hmm.
Well, what I want from a newspaper is I want to know that you've got a journalist in the field and you've got an editor back in the office looking at the copy and going, do you have three?
Exactly.
You have three confirmations on this? You didn't get that off Twitter, did you?
Yeah.
And all that. That's what I want, and that's why I don't think that TV does that anymore, because there's no time. With newspapers, you've got the luxury of, you're doing one a day, or, maybe 5, 6 a week. Whereas in news on television, it's like this.
The images are so hot.
Mm-hmm.
They just run straight to the liver and excite the passions.
That's right.
It is what it is. I hope it cycles down and there'll be a new mode of expression, but maybe humans will adapt to it. I don't know. I won't.
Yeah, no, I won't.
It's going to be gone. I mean, I'll be gone long before it calms down.
Well, I think that eventually, I'd like to think anyway, that people are just going to say, you know what, I'm sick of being mad. Because living in that constant state of agitation isn't healthy for you, And
You're right,
I'd like to think that eventually Bill O'Reilly will
over.
go. Yeah, they'll either all die,
Killed your audience,
or they will say, you know what, there's got to be another way to figure this out.
Well, we lost another 10% stroke victims.
Hypertension, it's wiping out the crowd.
And they're drinking.
Do you still live in New Orleans?
Yeah. I drove out to L.A. in late June just to get out of the heat. And I done missed me a storm.
Yeah.
But my neighborhood, we were okay.
Right. New Orleans is my favorite place. I'm from Nova Scotia originally, and that's, I feel the connection, the Acadians.
Yeah.
I grew up in that culture.
Yeah.
And I feel a very strong connection to it. Like Canada, that's the only place in America that speaks French. The food, the whole thing. But I haven't been. I was there 2 weeks before Hurricane Katrina blew through, and I haven't gone back. Should I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of new blood moving in.
Yeah.
A lot of kids, a lot of smart kids, a lot of artists. Yeah, it's funny. I think the arts have revitalized the city. The music's always been there at the core, and it's a great place to live.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's nothing better than the first time I stayed there was years ago now. I've been a number of times. I think it was called the St. Pierre Hotel. It's in the corner, and it's
I know exactly what it is.
And it's a courtyard hotel, right? And I wanted to stay there because it's New Orleans. I wanted to stay there, and I remember going to bed every night, and I'd hear like a piano playing at 3:00 in the morning, or a trumpet playing somewhere, and I'd be like, "That's just some guy on a street corner playing." Or
you could still go through the neighborhoods and hear that. You know, the boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. Is that part of the thing that keeps you there?
The live culture, yeah. That sounds like a yogurt commercial. It's hot, It's
that's the thing that kills me. I just these months, I can't be there.
No, I that's why I got out. I'm getting too old, too old and intolerant.
Mm-hmm.
But the fall through the spring is the best.
Yeah. Back to Argo. The character you play, John Chambers, a legendary guy. Tell me, when I asked you this at the press conference a little bit, but is there a responsibility when you're playing somebody, or is it just kind of, this is what's written on the page, and people, because the average person doesn't know who he was, they don't know anything much about it.
Responsibility is the people I work with.
Right.
I could be funny and say, get my eye gouged out by an angry makeup guy, but he was kind of the progenitor of people that I've worked with prosthetic makeup. It was kind of a boomlet, I guess, in the '60s with this stuff, and he was the wellhead of it. But he's to not take that seriously would be to deny the craftsman working now, and the work that he did do for his government. As a patriot.
I know.
That word has taken on such unfortunate connotations, but
it had. I mean,
it's tough on the tongue, but he served his country.
Well, he served absolutely served the country. That's a story. I mean, that's a movie all in its own. That this guy's life story, I think. It's funny you mentioned the word patriot, because as soon as you say patriot, it's been co-opted by the right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's hard. It seems hard to use.
It didn't want to come off my tongue.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about working with Alan Arkin, because you guys on stage today and in the movie, you've got such a rapport. It seems like.
I think the world of him. He's always touched something in me as an actor that was real and truthful, and how does he do it?
Yeah.
Just that mystery of it, and things I've heard him say over the years, and the way he started has always fascinated me with the Second City Company, and as a musician.
His first role was as a singer in a movie called The Wild Calypso in 1957.
Oh my God, yeah, he was a Calypso singer. Oh man, I gotta see that. And then we would sit and talk about jazz.
Yeah.
I can't call it it was called modern jazz at one time.
Yeah.
Bop and Charlie Parker and Slim Gaillard and all these cats. We found a common vocabulary, and just it was immediate to me that I could relax with him, because I could trust him.
Well, I'll tell you, if you like, if that's your milieu, you should go see On the Road. Slim Gaillard, an actor playing Slim Gaillard has an incredible sequence in this.
Oh, Root.
Yeah.
I worked with Garrett.
Garrett Hedlund.
Yeah, worked with Garrett in March, and I'd worked with him before. I played his father in something he reminded me of.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, he is. He's a good kid too.
Yeah. Well, this scene in the club, many years ago, there used to be a club in Toronto called the Senator, and it was the jazz club for many years. And Slim Gaillard played there, and he was old.
Yeah.
Then. I didn't probably, I imagine, in his 80s. But I had heard, shwoobop, all that stuff, right? And I totally wanted to see this guy. And my wife was working at the place at the time, and she got me in for the first night, and then I bought tickets for the next 5 nights, and the show was different every night, and it was mind-blowing. Even at 89
Wow,
or whatever he
man.
was.
Yeah.
Man, and he died, I think, shortly afterwards.
Yeah, he was in London.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I when I first got hip to him was like in the late '70s, and I wanted to swallow it whole, but
Yeah.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah. Well, this is, I mean, I've been divorced for a while, so this is 15, 20, maybe 20 years ago. But I'll tell you, still doing that thing where he played the piano like that. It was great stuff. And when I saw him in On the Road, I was like, wow, you know what? That's the same guy I saw, only...
I wonder who the cat was again.
I don't know.
And who directed it, man, to do that.
Yeah, but it's good stuff.
Yeah, On the Road I always thought was unfilmable, or maybe should be, but I hope this is good.
This is good. You know, I'll tell you, because that
it
book...
screwed me up when I was a kid.
Well, that book meant a lot to me, you know, because I grew up in a small place, and the idea of like that you could just say, you know what, fuck this, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Was huge for me, and I eventually did it. You know, but and I don't know if the book was absolutely my pushing off point, but it was close to it. And so the book's always been near and dear to me, but nothing happens in the book, you know.
Yeah.
They drink, they screw, they drive around, you know. There's really nothing much.
For me, that was enough.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, for me too, I guess.
For the road.
Yeah, but the movie really grabs it. The movie gets it, and again, nothing much happens. They've given it a bit more shape, you know, but nothing much really happens. It's Dean Moriarty and
crazy.
Sal, and they're on the road.
Yeah, they got a nice Hudson.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
I'll read.
I saw you in Waiting for Godot
Oh,
on Broadway 2 years
you
ago.
want your money back?
No, man,
Yeah, 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We were in New York. My girlfriend and I were in New York, and when we heard about it, it was the thing to see. And I'll tell you, we got one of those same day of too.
Yeah.
We got such amazing seats, and such. I was really taken with it. It was that play also means a great deal to me, because as I saw it early on, it's one of the things that triggered my love of Beckett, among other things. And I'll tell you, I loved seeing you in that role and on stage, because I'd never seen you on stage before, and it was really something to see you fill that room.
I need to get back. I got two. This was just replaced,
Right.
and I got to get this one done. But when I do that, I'll be back.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you, because it was really great. It was really
thank
great.
you.
It was so much
Thanks a
fun,
lot.
and it really because I don't know how many times I've seen it, various productions, amateurs, pros, everything. I had never seen it brought to such vivid life before like that. So.
The man that directed it worked with Beckett in '56. He did the first. The first English revival at the
right?
Royal Court. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. Wow. Well, it was Bill Irwin. I mean, the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, but so good. Mr. Goodman, that's our time.
Oh,
They're
man.
going to take me away, but thank
All
you
right.
so much. It was
Hey,
a
thanks
pleasure
a
to
lot.
see you.